All right, so my goal is to make this video very short. So I'm hoping that the service that I need is already enabled, or if it's not enabled, we'll go over that. So what I'm trying to demonstrate in this quick video is I've tried it over several Linux distros, and it worked on all the Linux distros that I tried it on. It's just an alternative central management console. Let me not use console. Let me use Porter. A centralized management portal for which is graphical user interface based. So we all know the moment you hear Linux, the next thing that comes to your mind is providing terminal management access, which is for the most part what Linux is built on. So if you're working in an environment where you have the appropriate permissions and the appropriate credential to log into these devices. It could be a single host, it could be server, it could be any device that is built on either Ubuntu, CentOS, Red Hat. Those are the Linux distros that I tried this particular service on, and it's called Cockpit service. So on Red Hat, I observed the protocols were already added to the firewall by default. And in Kali, I think it needed a little bit of tweaking. Let me see what we have here. I launch terminal. I launch this terminal here. I'm using VMware as my virtual machine manager. All right, let us zoom this out here. All right, so this is my roots. Let's see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm working as root. Let me see how many users we have here. All right, I have a single user, Kali. Which group is this user? All right, good. I have a cockpit instance going on. Perfect. All right, I think we're set. So what I'm gonna do next is to check if the cockpit service is already enabled, because you have to enable the service to get it to work. So I had to increase the font size in here. So in order to do that, since I'm actually working as a root user, I can go ahead and say system control. I can check cockpit socket. So by default, this is what you're going to be uh, looking at. Now the cockpit socket works with port 9090, and when it comes to using this service, let me see my config. So my IP address for the 8080 interface is 192.168.1.6. And in order to use the cockpit service, I will have to do https:// 192.168.1.6 1990. So I'm gonna have to type this in the browser. I'm gonna type this in the browser, and I should be able to now get access to the login portal. Then I will use the same username and password. Now, before we move forward, there's something I need to check, because the cockpit directory has a file. The cockpit directory has a file called disallowed users. So if my root account is in this file, I will not be able to access the graphical user interface. It's usually done like this for security reasons, which is not bad at all. So it's better to use the Kali account that has pseudo privilege. But in this in this situation where I'm just doing a little bit of demonstration, I want my root user to have the access to log into the web graphical user interface for this particular Linux server. So you can see here I have my root user as part of this account. So I don't want to go ahead and demonstrate it, because if I do, I'm not going to be able to log in, which is exactly what we're saying. But I need to remove my root account from this user. Oh, let me just do it. So what I'm going to do first is to start the Cockpit service by doing system control. So now if I go back with checking the status, system control, status, Cockpit socket. So now we have the Cockpit socket is enabled, and this Cockpit web service is active and listening on port 9090. So that's one of the steps that has to be followed. So we've done step number one. Step number two is to remove the root user. Remember I said for security reasons, it's just like you having your root account disabled, because if you have your root user account enabled and for some reason the bad actors have their hands on your root account and the credentials, they can do anything with the server and then with every other devices on that particular network, depending on how the infrastructure in your network is designed. If you have your server sitting in a particular zone, maybe the DMZ zone, uh, at the back of a maybe FortiGate or Palo Alto firewall, if the bad actors have access to your root account, they can pivot from that particular server to other servers on the network, and then even outside of the zone, because you have security rules and security policies designed to allow traffic from especially for stateful firewalls, they would allow traffic that are coming into the DMZ zone to go back, provided it's already been authenticated and authorized. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong by enabling your root account. So that's why it makes perfect sense when you see root accounts disabled by default on Linux servers and stuff like that. But like I said, for this demonstration, I just wanted to show that you can access the Cockpit web service using the root account as well as the Kali account. So I'm going to enable the Kali account as well. Now for the root, I need to go ahead and remove the root account from the list of disallowed users. So in order to do that, I can copy this this path and do a nano, paste this here, paste selection, and then I can come down here and remove. Now if I cat this, so my root user is no longer there. So that's step two. Step one, enable the Cockpit service. Step two, remove the root user. Now step three, because I don't want to come back here once we go back to the web interface, even if I have to come back here, I don't want it to be in the capacity of having to mess with this again. So I'm going to just go ahead and give the proper permission to the Kali account. Remember, when I do cd home, I do ls-hell, I have all my users here. So if I create another user, for example, user help, put the user in the sudo group and name, maybe the user is Sahid Adeoye, maybe that's the user. And the user shell is /bin/bash, and the user's working directory is /home/Sadeoye, and the user shell would be vase. So now this user is created, right? So now if I do user mod ag will, so I'm putting this user in the appropriate group so that they can be able to perform the task All right, perfect. So now that I have all of this done, so who am I? Okay, I'm Kali. Now let me see if I have the cockpit service, system control, status cockpit. I'm trying to see if I have my cockpit service. So now, like I was saying before, that I needed to get the service running on both the Kali user account. That's if we're going to respect the security posture by disabling the root account, or to enable both because I'm currently in a lab environment. So now I have to sudo system control, and I have to enable cockpit service. I explained before why you have to use enable now, because when the system reboots, you want your service to also start with the system. All right, so we have this running. Cockpit, the socket is running too, I believe. So it looks like everything looks good for us right now to go ahead and proceed with checking the uh, the to see if we can log in through the GUI interface. So now I did this with Chrome. I'm gonna do this with Microsoft Edge now. It doesn't matter, it's just a browser. So I'm gonna copy the IP address here, and then I'm gonna go to incognito browser here. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be incognito browser, but I just prefer this. So I can do HTTPS and paste the IP address, colon the port number. So you're gonna get this, which is not a problem, just because we're using a self-signed certificate. So now we're gonna get the login interface. I can log in here as root and put the password. Do I remember my root password? Let me see, I'm not sure. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is let me go back and fix that. And I actually like this demonstration because there's so much things that was performed all together in this video. So instead of just the cockpit service and all that, so there are other things that was performed. So now, like I was saying, this is one of the good things about the cockpit service. I can access the server CPU. I'm using 3% of my 2 virtual CPUs. I can look at the memory. I can expand it, see a little bit more granular uh, logs. I can come down here and look at the log files. I can also filter my logs based on warnings. I can filter the logs based on alerts, which is I think is very good. Now, I can also check all of this in, if I do cd ver log, I can check a lot of things here, ls-l. I can check, all kinds of logs here, but like I was saying, the demonstration is just to highlight the benefit of using the graphical user interface. I'm logging as the root. I can look at my storage as well. This is my storage. I can come here and click on my session. If I want the dark session, or if I want the light, this is really user friendly. I can come here to networking, and I find this particularly interesting because maybe I'm looking at my networking and I'm seeing an erratic behavior in the transmit and receive uh, pattern of my network cards. I can go ahead and see maybe my server is, I can start a Wireshark on the interface and try to, further investigate what the problem could be, where the source of the traffic, erratic traffic is coming from. Maybe it's a host somewhere that is trying to perform a denial of service or distributed denial of service attack on my machine. So there's a lot of things you can do here in the graphic user interface. You can look here at the same time, you can look at the logs, like I said before, and you can get a lot of information from the logs. And you can look at networking. You can add VPN, you can add bridge, you can add NIC bonding. So there's some right now. I'm currently using the ETH0. You can come here, you can edit the IP address. There's a lot of things you can do from the graphical user interface. So it's okay to be able to use your CLI commands, but at the same time, having an opportunity to perform your administrative task using the graphic user interface is fantastic. And look at this. I can create a new user here. Maybe I want to create Adam Height, somebody I like very much. Okay, and then bin bash here, and then maybe assign a password for this user. And then here, maybe create this user. So I created this user. If I come here to my terminal, if I come here to my terminal, I can immediately see the user that I created just now. Adam Height is already here. I can modify Adam height. I can do a lot of things here to this user, right? Like set password and everything. But again, from the graphical user interface, I can perform all these tasks right away by clicking Adam height, set his password. First change password, I can change his shell. And I think this is very user friendly. And you can also go to service and click on the services. I said this video, I didn't want it to be more than 10 minutes, but I ended up spending almost 20 minutes. But it's really packed with a lot of very useful information. So these are the list of services that are actually currently running. So if you want to troubleshoot, you need to find a service like maybe Apache. You want to see if Apache is running, it's right there. You can click it, look at the relationship, where it's mounted, stuff like that. You can go back to services and see whether your SSH is running. And then you can even look for Cockpit as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do from the graphical user interface. And the biggest part of this feature is your ability to also launch the terminal. Oh, guys, I think this is really good. You can also launch the terminal from here. You can also launch the terminal from here. Uh, you can do a lot of things from here. You can write your bash script, you can print, you can do all kinds of things. So it's really exciting, the things you can do from this graphical user interface. So I'm going to stop the video here. It's already 19 minutes. I don't want it to be too much, but I believe there's a lot of things that I've discussed here that you could literally, learn from. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment and let me know if this is something you've used or if this is something you would like to try. And then let me know what you think about it. Thank you for watching.